My Lord is on now.
Yes, gentlemen, I apologize for the late start in today's proceedings. We had some technical hitches at this end, and but we're all set now. So if the registrar would like to call the case.
Okay, thank you, Lordship. I'm going to first admit everybody in, and then I would introduce proceedings before I call the case. That's fine, Your Lordship. So let me admit people in now.
Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Just waiting for 5 more people to slip in, and then we'll start. Okay. So good morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, senior colleagues, my Lord Justice present. My name is Iluezi-Ogbaudu, and I welcome you to day 2 of the Justice Reform Project and Lagos State Judiciary's live stream of the mock proceedings. Today, we would proceed to trial of this case. We concluded case management conference yesterday, and the motion which was brought by the defendant was dismissed. Now the parties will then commence trial in this proceeding. Just before we go on, I would appreciate if everyone can keep their microphones off and their videos turned off, because it would interfere with the live stream if we do not do that. On this note, I want to say thank you for joining again. Like we said yesterday, it's a learning experience. We intend to show how it's done, but also intend to learn from the process and make prescriptions on how to proceed. So I will then again put my registrar hat on, and let's get to the proceedings of the day. So the court is now in session. I will call the case LD RH001 2020 Raspotech Nigeria Limited versus Hesper Nigeria Limited. Your Lordship, the parties are present.
Okay, this is Your Lordship.
Yes, can I have your appearance, please?
Shima Umezurike is my name, and I appear for the claimant, Raspotech Nigeria Limited. And appearing with me are my learned friends, Ifoma Sholanke Esquire.
All right, thank you, Counsel. But I think you can be seated.
I'm very grateful, my Lord.
Yes, any representation from the defendants?
Oluyemi Adebo, Esquire. And finally, Kudus Adeoye, Esquire. We appear for the claimant.
Very well, thank you.
With the greatest respect, my Lord, Shini Adio for the defendant, and appearing with me and my learned friends, Nonso Ayansi Esquire, and Michael Nonso, N-O-N.
Yes, not the Nonso, but it's the surname.
Very well, my Lord. Anyansi, A-N-Y-A-S-I, Esquire, and Michael Nwosu, Esquire. We humbly appear for the defendant, and thank you for the kind consideration of allowing counsel to be seated.
My Lord, this matter is listed for trial this morning. And subject to your Lordship's convenience, we are prepared to proceed.
All right.
Each party has one witness each, and both parties have agreed that every single document in the parties' list of documents will be admissible without objection. And with your Lordship's kind permission, I call the claimant's sole witness, Mr. Hassan Turban.
The High Court. Let's go together.
Claimant's witness. Okay. Do you choose to?
Put my name and your name that we're going out.
All right.
I'm not sure what is going on. Hold on, please. Before you call the witness or before you swear him in, I'd like to emphasize that as we agreed at the trial directions, cross-examination would be for 20 minutes, and you have 5 to time when you are cross-examining the witnesses. You may go ahead and swear in the witness for the claimant.
That's great, Your Lordship. The claimant's witness. Where's the claimant's witness?
I'm present.
Okay. All other witnesses who are not part of the issue should be out of sight and out of hearing. Claimant's witness, do you choose to affirm or do you choose to swear?
I choose to swear.
Okay, please read out the oath on the screen, inserting your name and the book and the holy book that you lie.
Okay, very well.
Please confirm that you can see the oath on the screen.
No, not yet.
Okay, please repeat after me. I, your name,
Mr. Azan Tauban,
do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear
By the
Holy Bible
by the evidence I shall give,
that the evidence I shall give
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
Please, can you tell the court your full name, your address, and your occupation?
All right. Thank you very much.
My name is Mr. Azan Tauban. I live at number 15 Moriamo Close, Ikotun, Lagos State. I am the managing director of Raspotech Nigeria Limited.
Is it true that you made 2 witness statements of oath in support of this claim?
Yes, I did.
First is dated the 25th of April 2020 and has 31 paragraphs.
Yes, I did.
Is that the document that is before the court at the moment?
Yes, it is.
If you then go to the last page, just after paragraph 31, there is a signature above the word deponent. Signature.
Yes, that is signature.
And you then made a further witness statement on oath of 13 paragraphs on the 4th of May 2020. Is that correct?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And that was then a response to the...
Just a minute, Counsel. Just a minute.
I'm very sorry, my lord.
Learned Counsel back. I need to see on my screen as well the signature of the deponent. And you refer to...
Then referred, my lord, yes. in respect of the witness statement dated 25th April 2020.
Okay. All right. So, but what I have on my screen seems to be only 13 paragraphs. And
it's the further witness statement that was made on the 4th of May 2020.
Okay.
If your lordship will recall, he said that he made 2 witness statements in support of this claim.
Yes,
the first being...
I didn't see the first statement on oath.
Malord, yes. That's the one on the screen at the moment.
Okay, that's it. The one that April. Has he identified his signatures on the 2 documents?
Can you please identify your signature on both documents?
Yes, that is my signature on both documents.
When last did you read these documents?
I went through these documents this morning as well.
So the contents are still fresh in your mind?
Yes, it is.
Do you wish to adopt the contents of these 2 documents as your evidence in chief in this case?
Yes, I wish to adopt the content as my evidence in chief in this case.
Please, can you refer him to paragraph 7.2 of his first witness statement on oath?
Just a minute, Learned Counsel. Statement on oath of a claimant sole witness dated the 25th of April 2020, and the further statement on oath dated the 4th of May 2020 is adopted by the witness as his evidence in chief and is so marked. Yes, you may continue, Counsel.
Can you please, the registrar, can you please refer the witness to paragraph 7, subparagraph 2 of his first witness statement? Mr. Tabari refers to a document called the Contract for Supply of POS Machines between the parties and dated April 1, 2019. Please, yes. Registrar, can you show him the document referred to at that paragraph? Mr. Chaban, is that the document that you referred to at paragraph 7.2 of your first witness statement? The contract for supply of POS machines between the parties and dated 1st April 2019?
Yes, this is it.
My Lord, with your Lordship's kind permission, I tender it in evidence.
All right. A copy of the contract for supply of POS machines executed between the parties, dated the 1st of April 2019, is tendered and is marked as Exhibit C1.
As the court pleases. Registrar, please, can you then refer him to, or show him paragraph 9 of his first witness statement? Mr. Tabat, you at paragraph 9, you refer to a letter from the managing director of the defendant dated 2nd January 2020. Registrar, please, can you show him a copy of the letter referred to at that paragraph?
Yes, I did refer to that letter.
To be shown to you in due course. Be patient. On the screen, Mr. Taban, is a letter from Hesper Nigeria Limited, and dated 2nd January 2020, which is addressed to you. Is that the document you refer to at paragraph 9 of your first witness statement?
Yes, this is the letter.
All
My
right.
Lord, with your Lordship's kind permission, I will tender it in evidence.
Okay. Letter received from the defendant's company, dated the 2nd of January 2020, is tendered and marked as Exhibit C2.
As the court, please. Registrar, please, can you show the witness paragraph 12 of his first witness statement? Mr. Talban, at paragraph 12, you referred to a letter from the claimant to the defendant dated 9th January 2020. Registrar, please, can you show him a copy of that letter? Mr. Talban, on the screen is a copy of the letter dated 9th January 2020, which is from the defendant to the claimant. Is that the document you're referring to at paragraph 12 for the first witness statement?
I think it's the claimant's letter to the defendant.
This is our letter, yes.
My Lord, with your Lordship's kind permission, I will seek to tender it in evidence.
All right, thank you very much. The claimant's letter to the defendant's company, dated the 9th of January 2020, is marked as Exhibit C3.
As the court pleases. Registrar, if you could show the witness paragraph 13 of his first witness statement. And Mr. Turban, if you look at paragraph 13, you will see that you refer to the claimant's letter of January 23rd, 2020, as well as the defendant's letter of January 24, 2020. Registrar,
Yes,
please, can you show him copies of those letters? The first letter on the screen, I can't see probably, it's 23rd January 2020, and it's from Raspotech Nigeria Limited to Hesper Nigeria Limited. Mr. Traban, is that the document you referred to paragraph 13 of your first witness statement as a letter dated to the 3rd January 2020?
Yes, it is.
My Lord, I wish to tender it in evidence with your Lordship's kind permission.
All right. Is he identifying the response as well, dated the 24th of January? The defendant.
Mr. Please, could you show him the response as well? Mr. Taban, on the screen is a letter from Hesper Nigeria Limited to the sales office of Raspotech Nigeria Limited, dated 24th January 2020, which was written in response to Raspotech's letter on the 23rd of January 2020. Can you confirm that the document referred to paragraph 13 of your first witness statement?
Yes, this is the letter.
My Lord, with your Lordship's kind permission, I seek to tender both in evidence.
Okay, thank you very much, Counsel. The claimant's letter to the defendant, dated the 23rd of January 2020, and the response, dated the 24th of January 2020, is tendered and marked as Exhibit 4A and B, respectively.
As the court pleases. Registrar, please, can you then show the witness paragraph 14 of the first witness statement? Mr. Talbot, at paragraph 14 of your first witness statement, you refer to the claimant's letter to the defendant dated 25th January 2020. Registrar, please, can you show him a copy of that letter on the screen? Mr. Taban, is that the letter dated 25th January 2020 from the claimant to the defendant that you refer to paragraph 14 of a witness statement?
Yes, it is.
My Lord, with your Lordship's high permission, I seek to tender it in evidence.
I see that the claimant has a further letter. Can we not take those together instead of taking it?
My Lord, we can. There is the next document is at paragraph 16 of his witness statement.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Registrar, can you please show the witness paragraph 16 of his first witness statement? Mr. Taban, I'll take you to paragraph 16 and 17. At 16, it's a letter referred to from the claimant to the defendant dated 3rd February 2020. And paragraph 17 is also a letter from the defendant dated 27th March 2020. Registrar, please, can you show him both documents? Is that the letter dated 3rd February 2020?
Yes, it is.
That's the one you referred to in your paragraph 16 of your witness statement.
Yes, this is it.
With your Lordship's high permission, I seek to tender that in evidence.
Okay, thank you, Counsel. The claimant's letters to the defendant dated the 25th of January 2020 and the 3rd of February 2020 is tendered and marked as exhibits C5, A, and B, respectively.
As the court pleases. Registrar, please, can you show him the letter that he referred to at paragraph 17 of his witness statement, which is the defendant's letter of 27th of March 2020?
Yes, have you identified the letter?
Registrar, please, can you show him the letter? It's the one mentioned at paragraph 17 of his first witness statement. And it's the letter from the defendant dated 27th March 2020. Mr. Taban, is that the letter from the defendant dated 27th March 2020 that you referred to paragraph 17 of the first witness statement?
Yes, it is.
My Lord, with your Lordship's kind permission, I seek to tender it in evidence.
Thank you very much. The defendant's letter to the claimant dated the 27th of March 2020 is tendered and marked as exhibit C6.
As the court pleases. Registrar, please, can you show the witness paragraph 18 of his first witness statement? Mr. Talbot, in that paragraph, you refer to the defendant's letter dated April 1st, 2020. Registrar, please, can you show him a copy of that letter? Mr. Talbot, is that the letter dated 1st April 2020, written by Hesper Nigeria Limited to the claimant?
Yes, it is.
With your lordship's kind permission, I'll seek to tender it in evidence.
All right, thank you very much. The defendant's letter to the claimant, dated the 1st of April 2020, is tendered and marked as Exhibit C7.
Registrar, please, can you show the witness paragraph 20 of his first witness statement? Mr. Talbot, in that paragraph, you refer to the claimant's letter of 13th April 2020. Please, Registrar, can you show him a copy of that letter? Mr. Talbot, is that the document, the letter from the claimant dated 13th April 2020 that you referred to at paragraph 20 of your first witness statement?
Yes, yes, it is.
With your lordship's kind permission, I seek to tender it in evidence.
All right, thank you very much. The claimant's solicitor's letter of the 13th of April 2020 is tendered and marked as Exhibit C8.
As copies. At paragraph 8 of the claimant's reply to the statement of defense, it refers to the email from Mr. Hassan Tuaban, dated 10th March 2020, authorizing DEJI to handle negotiation communication with defendant. Registrar, please, can you show him a copy of that email? In fact, the date is wrong. It should be 2019, 10th March 2019, and it's timed at 11 a.m. It's in the claimant's additional list of documents. Mr. Talbot, please, is the document on the screen the email dated 10th March 2019 that you sent to Mr. Deji Tuaban?
Yes, it is.
My Lord, I wish you tender it in evidence.
We have a Section 84 for certification for this email. Learned Counsel.
I'm sorry, my Lord.
I was asking if you had the Section 84 for authentication for this email.
I'm hard of hearing, my Lord.
I was asking if you had a Section 84 for certificate of authentication for this email. That you
I may assist the court, my Lord.
It is in court, my Lord. It's been filed.
Okay, it has been filed. Okay.
My Lord, yes.
Very well. Email dated the 10th of March 2019 from the claimants to the defendant is tendered and marked as Exhibit C9.
As the court pleases. Finally, Mr. Taban, at paragraph 9 of the claimant's reply to the statement of defense, it refers to the claimant's letter relieving Mr. Musa Deji Tuaban of his position as an employee of the claimant's company. So please, can you show him a copy of that letter? Thelma, please, can you confirm that is the letter dated 1st February 2020 that you wrote to Mr. Deji Musa Turban?
Yes.
My Lord, with your Lordship's kind permission, I seek to tender it in evidence.
Very well. Claimant's letter dated the 1st of February 2020 to the defendant is tendered and marked as Exhibit C10.
As the court pleases. Mr. Chaba, that is all I have for you. But if you'd like to remain there, my learned friend, Mr. Adio, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, is very likely to have some questions for you.
Very well.
Thank
you. Yes, go ahead, please. The registrar, don't forget to set your time, 20 minutes for cross-examination.
Yes, my lord.
Very well. Thank you very much, Mr. Omezirike. If the registrar could please turn on my video.
Let's go ahead, please.
Very well, my lord. Good morning, Mr. Thorban.
Good morning.
I'm going to ask you a few questions this morning. First, I'm going to give you the very rare privilege of asking whether there's anything in the two witness statements that you just adopted that you'd like to change. It's hardly ever done, but I'm giving you that opportunity. Is there anything you'd like to change in your written statement on oath?
No.
Okay, very well. Now, one of the arguments that you have made as representing the claimant in this case is that Mr. Lingley did not have the authority, Mr. Deji Turban don't have the authority to bind the claimant. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, Mr. Deji does not have the authority to change the terms of the contract, yes.
Yes, that was not my question to you. My question to you is that Mr. Deji Turban did not have the authority to bind the company, the claimant. Is that a yes or no?
Yes, Mr. Yes.
Yes, he did not have the authority to bind the company.
Yes.
Very well. Now, let me move right along. The contract in question is what has been admitted as Exhibit C1, Claimant's Exhibit C1, correct?
Yes, that is the contract.
And prior to this contract being entered into between the claimant and the defendant, the claimant had never done any business with the defendant company before, correct?
Yes.
And it was as a result of Mr. Deji Turban's relationship with the CEO of the defendant company that this contract that has been admitted as Exhibit C1 came about, correct?
Yes.
To be specific, Mr. DJ Thauban and Mr. Lingley had a personal relationship, correct?
Yes.
Very well. And ultimately, the contract that was consummated and entered into and executed by the parties was for the supply of certain equipment referred to as POS machines, correct?
Yes.
And specifically 3 million units of those machines.
Yes.
At a cost of 150 billion naira.
Yes.
And payments for which were to be made in 3 tranches based on a scheduled supply in 3 tranches, 1 billion units at a time. So 1 million units at a time.
Yes.
And I'm going to direct you to your first witness statement, dated the 25th of April, 2020.
Very well.
Specifically, yes, specific to paragraph 3. Therein, you identified the schedule of deliveries. Am I correct?
Yes.
Paragraph 3 and paragraph 4.
What paragraph is that?
That is the first witness statement
Yes.
of the witness of the claimant, dated the 25th day of April, 2020.
Yes, I see that. What paragraph are you referring
There,
to?
my lord. Paragraph 3.
Okay.
Paragraph 3 provides the schedule of delivery of the 3 million units.
My lord, the paragraph 3 of what I have is different from what my friend is saying.
Could the registrar please display the witness statement on oath, please?
They said that now, so let me give them 20 minutes, I'll come back. Okay. What are the file, where the case file is? Yes, yes.
There's some interruption. Registrar? Could you please display the written statement on oath? Dated the 25th day of April, 2020. All right.
Yes, you need to tell us to which paragraph.
Very well. Registrar, please go down. Continue. Right. That is on the screen now is paragraph 3, my lord. And in paragraph 3.
I'm very sorry to interrupt. That's paragraph 7.3.
All right, Mr. Shane.
Very well. Paragraph 7.3. Paragraph 7.3 of the witness statement. Witness, that describes the schedule of payments, correct? Schedule of deliveries, correct? I can't hear you. The witness mic is mute.
Please.
Very well. And then paragraph 4 provides the payment schedule, 7.4.
Yes.
Okay. And there were supposed to be 3 payments, correct?
Yes.
And 2 of the payments were made without any problem.
Yes.
So 2 payments of 50 billion were made, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you are testified that Mr. DJ Thalban did not have the authority to bind the company. Is that right?
Yes.
What was Mr. Thalban's title?
Mr. Thalban is the Business Development and Marketing Associate.
Okay. My Lord, with the kind permission of the court, the defendant has a series of documents that we intend to use to cross-examine the witness. The first one, my Lord, it's an email dated the 3rd of March, 2019.
And that email is from who?
The email is the 3rd of March, 2019, my Lord.
It's not yet before the court as an exhibit.
No, my Lord.
Go ahead with your question.
It's not yet before the court, but it's an email I'm sorry, my Lord. It's actually dated the 16th day of March, 2019. It's an email from the claimant to the defendant. It's dated the 16th of March, 2019. It's an email from the claimant to the defendant.
You may wish to show him the email so that he may confirm.
Very well, my Lord.
I'm very sorry, my Lord. Mr. Adio, is it the item 3 on the defendant's list of documents?
It is very well.
Very grateful.
Very well. My Lord, these documents, this particular letter, have all the defendant's documents to be used in this matter have been front-loaded. And as my learned friend had stated, the parties have agreed or had agreed in advance for our respective documents to be admitted in evidence without any objection. So subject to the overriding discretion of my Lord, I'd like to proceed with cross-examining the witness using this particular document.
Yes, you need to show him the document.
Very well, my Lord. The document is dated the 16th of March, 2019, and I believe the registrar has displayed same on the screen. It is identified as document number 3 in our list, in the defendant's list of documents.
Very well. Ask your question, Counsel.
Very well, my Lord. Yeah, witness. Can you see that document dated 16th of March, 2019?
Yes, I can.
The document was signed by Mr. DJ Thalban, correct?
Yes, I can see that.
And his title, his designation on the document is Principal Officer, correct?
Yes, I can see that as well.
So in fact, Mr. Thalban was a principal officer, not a sales associate.
Mr. Thalban.
That is what it says on the document, correct?
Yes, go ahead.
That is what it says on the document. That is what it says on the document. Is that right?
Yes, that is what is on the document.
Very well.
Yes, that is what is on the document.
Yes. Now, this same document also sets forth the transaction that ultimately culminated in what is now Exhibit C1, the contract between the claimant and the defendant, correct?
Do you understand the question that has been asked of you?
You can take your time to look at it. My question is, this document you're looking at sets forth what ultimately culminated in the contract in terms of the units of POS machines and the payment period, 28th of June 2019, 30th of September 2019, 31st of December 2019.
I'm sorry, I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me now?
I want to rephrase that question.
Very well, my lord. Can you hear me now?
I believe he can hear you now. You know, everything seems to be fine here.
Okay, as a call pleases. So, Mr. Thalban, my question to you is that this document you're looking at now describes the payment schedule, 28th of June 2019, 30th of September 2019, 31st of December 2019, and the number of units of POS machines.
I'm sorry, I still cannot hear anything.
I'm very sorry, my lord. The question appears to be misleading.
No.
What it says is that it gives dates for delivery.
No, you cannot testify, my learned friend. You know, your witness is saying he hasn't even responded. He said he cannot hear. That's what he said.
He cannot hear the question.
Yes, yes, this email gave rise to the transaction.
Very well, thank you.
So
please permit me to disconnect and reconnect, please, so I can fix my connection issues. I can't hear anything. Thank you.
Registrar, you are the host. Is there anything you can do to optimize the witnesses' participation in this hearing?
Yes, Your Lordship, we're working on it. He's back in the room. I hope you can hear now. Witness, can you hear now?
Yes, yes, loud and clear. I'm not sure what happened, but I can hear now.
You may wish to repeat the question, Learned Silk.
Very well, my lord. My lord, I believe the question has been asked and answered.
All right.
With respect, my lord.
The email was part of the pre-contract correspondence.
That culminated in the contract, yes.
Yes.
Very well, my lord. Bless you. Respectful, my lord, the defendant seeks to have this email admitted in evidence, my lord. Well, it's been admitted already without objection. So if it could be marked as an exhibit, my lord, with respect.
Very well. Email dated the 16th of March, 2019 from the claimant to the defendant is tendered and is marked as exhibits. Registrar, what's the last exhibit we have on record? I think that would be C11.
As the court pleases.
Yes, C11. Go ahead, please.
With respect, my lord, I would ask the registrar, with the kind permission of the Honorable Court, to please display on the screen the document in the bundle of documents concluded by the defendant, document number 4, my lord. is dated the 17th day of March 2019, my lord.
Let's go ahead.
Very well, my lord. Mr. Tauban, there's a document on the screen dated the 17th day of March 2019 from Kim Landley to Deji Tauban. Registrar, could you please move this letter up a bit? Now, with this, this email was directed to the managing director of the claimant company, and that would be you, correct?
Yes, I am the managing director.
Actually, yes. Actually, this is an email that you wrote. No, this is an email that was direct. That was from the defendant to Digital.
Go sit down. Go sit down.
Yes, this. I'm sorry. This. Okay, yes.
All right. Email dated 17th of March 2019 from, who is it from? From the defendant to the claimant?
Very, my lord.
Okay. Yes, your question on it?
Yes, my lord. My question is, this document, if you look at it, Mr. Witness, is at the end, it provides that the defendant was to issue post-dated checks to the claimant to give the claimant some comfort regarding payment, correct? Can you hear me?
From what?
If you look at the paragraph, if you look at the paragraph,
yes, the agreement was for post-dated checks. Yes, yes.
And this understanding that the defendant will issue post-dated checks is also contained in the contract, Exhibit C1, correct?
Yes, the contract was agreed to be paid by post-dated checks.
So this letter that is this email dated the 17th of March also contains terms that ultimately were incorporated in the contract.
Sorry, could you come again?
So this document dated 17th March 2019 also contains terms that were ultimately incorporated in the contract being Exhibit C1.
The terms of the contracts, well, we finally agreed on are contained in the Exhibit C1, yes.
Yes, so my question is this, I'll just keep it simple. This condition of post-dated checks also found its way into the contract.
Yes, the contract contains provision for post-dated checks.
Very well.
All right, let me at this point remind you, Learned Silk, that yes, you have just barely 2 more minutes to conclude on your cross-examination in the first instance. Although I did say a 5-minute extension can be given.
My lord, I would greatly appreciate perhaps a 10 minutes because there was a break in transmission with the witness. I apologize for that. The witness had to log off and log in.
All right. Just remember that you keep it.
I'll move right along, my lord. I'll move right along.
All right.
Was grateful, my lord. So very quickly, my lord, with the greatest respect, the defendant seeks to have this document dated 17th day of March 2019 admitted in evidence.
Very well. Email dated the 17th of March 2019 from the defendant to the claimant company is tendered and marked as Exhibit C12.
Grateful, my lord. The greatest respect, if the registrar could also display on the screen document dated 20th of March 2019 was front-loaded by the defendant as number 5 in our list of documents. Number 5.
Okay, no problem. See, I don't know what's up.
Ask your question on the email.
Yeah, very well. Mr. Tauban, please look at document on the screen dated 28th March 2019. Specifically, I'm directing you to second paragraph beginning with "we." You see that?
Yes, I'm sure he has seen the email.
Very well.
So ask the question.
Very well. This email, witness, this email at paragraph 3 basically states that the claimant understands the peculiarity of the business inflow in terms of financial inflow of the defendant. That's what it says in paragraph 2, correct? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, it says we understand the peculiarity and would have to consider it in conclusion. Yes.
Very well. So before I move right along, Mr. Tauban, I'm going to put it to you that, in fact, contrary to your statement, contrary to your deposition on oath, same that you adopted this morning, that in fact, Mr. Deji Tauban had authority to bind the claimant company in this transaction. He had the authority.
No,
I'm
he
putting
did not.
he had the authority.
No, he did not.
Okay. Now the document. Now, okay. Registrar, if you could go back to what has been marked at Exhibit C11. Witness, I'm going to refer you to paragraph 3, beginning with, "I have been specifically instructed."
Yes, I can see the paragraph.
Very well. It says, "I have been specifically instructed to negotiate this contract on behalf of the board." Correct?
Yes, it says that.
Very well. Very well. Now, let's move to the contract. The contract itself. The contract, I'm going to ask you before the contract is shown to you. The contract provides, it does provide that in the event of a natural disaster or an act of God or some other cataclysmic event, that the defendant can delay its obligations under the contract or even entirely avoid its obligation under the contract, correct?
Please, if the registrar could zoom in so I could get a better look at it. Thank you.
You have a particular clause you're referring to?
Very well, my lord, yes.
Clause 9.
I'm going to refer to clause 9.
Yes. Okay, I can see it now.
Yes, my question to you is that the contract specifically provides 2 things, at a minimum, 2 things, right? One is that in certain circumstances, the defendant, or either party for that matter, in certain circumstances, either party may delay performing an obligation? Yes or no?
Oh, yes, it does.
It also provides that in certain circumstances, either party may avoid indefinitely an obligation.
Learned Silk, is this not a matter of interpretation, a matter for address? Just refer the court to clause 9.
My lord, it's a yes or no, my lord. With respect, I want the witness, for the witness to answer the question. It's very critical to our defense, and they've made heavy weight about it in their own claim.
Okay.
And I think would assist the court if the witness would
answer the question. You do understand the question. Answer the question as best as you can.
The witness is frozen.
Yes, Mr. Tauban. Mr. Hassan.
It's close.
Did you understand the question?
I would appreciate if the question is asked again. Thank you.
Okay. Repeat the question, Leonard.
Very well, my lord. My question is that the contract, in fact, you answered the first one already, but I'll restate the question. My question is that the contract does provide that in certain circumstances, either party, in this case is the defendant, has been sued, either party may delay performing an obligation, correct?
Yes, yes, it provides for delay, yes.
It also provides that in certain circumstances, you can even completely avoid that obligation.
I'm not sure how to answer the second part.
Answer as best as you can. You should be a truthful witness. Go do your best.
Yes, yes.
It does.
No, I mean, yes, I will do my best. I do not think it provides to indefinitely avoid obligation. If I were to read it that way, I do not think a businessman would enter such. I do not think it provides for that.
Very well.
All right, let's move on, please. We'll be stopping in the next 2 minutes. Learned Silk.
That'll be fine, my lord. If I may, my lord, I just have one more question on this issue.
Okay, thank you.
Paragraph 9, clause 9 states that under this agreement, each party is excused from performance under this agreement and shall not be liable for any delay in performance or non-performance in whole or in part caused by, is that correct? Can you see it on the screen?
Yes, yes, yes.
Or non-performance. Does it say that?
Yes, it does. It does. I can see that it does.
So in fact, it provides that performance can be excused in certain circumstances.
Yes, it does.
Very well. And one of those circumstances is where there's an order made or a decree made by a governmental entity, correct?
Yes, it does.
And one of the reasons given by the defendant for his inability to pay as at when due with respect to the third tranche is as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, correct?
Yes, the defendant mentioned that.
And the defendant also mentioned that it was severely impacted by the lockdown, correct?
Yes, it mentioned that.
And the lockdown was an order by the state government and the federal government, correct?
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
If your time is up, Leonard Silk, so...
I'm most grateful, my lord. I'm most grateful, and I really appreciate the opportunity to have done this. I'm most grateful, my lord. Thank you, my lord.
Do you have any questions in re-examination? Claimant Counsel, Mr. Umezurike, do you have any questions for re-examination for your witness?
Well, Lord, yes, just one. Registrar, please, can you show the witness? I think it should be Exhibit C12.
Yeah, you take your back. Take your back. Take your back.
As the email?
Yes.
Email
Mr. Tabat, if you look at the price payment, the third installment there is said to be 3rd of January 2019. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Please, Registrar, can you then show him Exhibit C1, which is the contract between the parties? Registrar, please, can you show him the contract, which is Exhibit C1? Can you please look at clause 3D?
Yes, I can see.
What is the date given for the payment of the last installment?
3rd January 2020.
So this therefore means that the date in C12 is wrong. But in C12 it says 3rd January 2019. Do you agree with me?
Yes. Yes, yes.
Thank you very much. That's all I have for him.
Thank you very much. The witness is hereby discharged. The gentlemen have finished with you. Let's move on quickly.
Thank you, my lord.
Defendant, are you ready for your...
Everyone, my lord.
Can you swear in the witness, please?
All right, witness, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, do you wish to swear or do you wish to affirm?
I wish to affirm.
Okay, can you see the affirmation on the screen?
Yes.
Can you
Yes,
please
I
read?
can.
Can you please read inserting your name where your name is required?
All right. I, Mr. Kinley, do solemnly and sincerely and confirm that the evidence surrounding the truth. All right.
So can you take that again? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Please take your affirmation again.
All right. I, Mr. Kim Landley, do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
My Lord, defendant witness now sworn on oath.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Kim. Go ahead, please.
To oblige, my lord. Good afternoon, Mr. Langley. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Langley, you're here to give evidence on behalf of the defendant. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And pursuant to that, do you, well, first of all, could you state your full name for the court, please?
My name is Kim.
And where do you work, Mr. Langley?
Work at Hesper Nigeria Limited.
Okay. And your position in the company?
Managing Director of Hesper Nigeria Limited.
Okay. And as Managing Director, you have the authority to speak on behalf of to give evidence on behalf of the company this morning?
Yes, I do.
And do you recall that in this case in which you've come to give evidence, at some point you deposed to a witness statement on oath?
Yes, I did. And I recall doing so.
Very well. And if that statement is shown to you, will you recognize it?
Yes, I would.
Very well. Will the registrar kindly show it to the witness? Now, Mr. Langley, the document is on the screen, and I'm going to direct the registrar if he will kindly display the signature page of this statement.
Let's go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Langley, would that be your signature on the signature page?
Yes, that is my signature.
And with respect to the statement, the depositions contained in this witness statement, do you adopt them as your evidence in this case?
Yes, I adopt the depositions herein as my evidence in this matter.
Very well, thank you. The statement on oath dated the 28th of April, 2020 is identified by the witness, Mr. Kim Langley, and is adopted as his evidence in chief.
Most grateful, my lord. And Mr. Langley, do you also recall that a list of documents accompanied your witness statement?
Yes, I do.
And attached to the list of documents were some documents referenced in the list of documents. The actual documents were attached to the list of documents, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. My lord, with respect, subject to the overriding direction and discretion of the Honourable Court, given that the parties are already stipulated that the parties' documents may come in evidence, and the interest of time, I would, with respect, be applying that the documents identified in the list of documents that, well, I'll ask the witness that he wants to rely on them, and and then upon giving his response, I'll be asking for the documents to be, with the greatest respect, admitted in evidence, my lord.
Very well. I think 2 of them have already come in.
As a copy,
through,
yes.
The Claimant's
Yes.
Counsel.
Very well, my lord. As a matter of fact, I think perhaps 3 because the contract is already in as well.
All right.
So, Mr. Langley, do you intend to also rely on the documents attached to your written statement in support of your evidence in this case?
Yes, I do.
Very, my lord. With respect, my lord, the defendant respectfully applies for the documents to be admitted in evidence, save for exhibits, to avoid duplicity. Document number 1, which is a contract, is already exhibit C1.
Yeah.
And I believe that
there was an email.
Yeah, the email dated the
17th of March.
As the court pleases.
And there's another email dated 20th of March.
As a copy, very well, my lord.
Very well. The document, defendant's documents, as itemized on the defendant's documents list, is tendered and marked as exhibit D1 to D17. What I've just done is just drawn a line across the ones that are already in evidence. So it will be D1 to D17. You have, sorry, D18. Since you have 21 items listed, so we'll take it, so it will be D1 to D18.
As a copy, please. And Mr. Landley, what is your humble prayer? What are you asking the court to do for the defendant in this case? Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. King. Registrar, can you find out what's going on? We seem to have lost him.
So defendant. Yes, right. I said, can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you now. So did you hear my question or should I repeat the question?
Yes, I heard your question. I said I would like for the court to dismiss the claimant's claim and for lack of merit and to grant an award for to the defendant, an award of costs to the defendant.
Very well. My lord, that'll be all for the witness. I'm most grateful.
Okay, may I invite Mr. Umezurike to take up the cross-examination of this witness? And I would like to remind you that you have 20 minutes in the first instance with the possibility of a 5-minute extension.
My lord. Good morning, Mr. Landley.
Good morning, sir.
Registrar, please, can you put on the screen the defendant's email of the 2nd of January 2020 to...
Okay, can you just give the registrar a few more minutes? He's trying to number the exhibits.
But, my lord, does it mean my 20 minutes will start from that time?
It will start from that time.
I beg it, my lord.
Landed Counsel.
Very well, Registrar. Are you ready for us? Okay.
We can proceed now.
Okay.
Please, can you show him what is item 8 on the defendant's list of documents? It might be exhibit D5, I'm not sure. It's the email from Deji Toaban to Kim Langley, dated 2nd January 2020, and time at 11:07 a.m. Yes, please. Mr. Langley, the email is from Mr. Deji to you, is it not?
Yes, it is.
And if you look at the sentence in the middle, it says, please do a formal request to the board, just for the records. Have you seen that? What request was it asking you to do to the board?
A request for an extension of time for payment of the last installment.
Thank you very much. Then, Registrar, can you please show him what might be now exhibit D6, which is his letter of the 2nd of January 2020 to the claimant? Can you see that letter? Oh,
the defendant's letter?
Yes, of the 2nd of January 2020. Yeah, that is it. Mr. Lanley.
Yes, sir.
Is that your letter?
Yes, sir, it is.
And is addressed to who?
To Mr. Hassan Tauban.
What was his position in the claimant company at the time you wrote this letter?
I believe he was the managing director.
And did you write this letter in response to the advice given to you by Mr. Deji in his email dated 2nd January 2020?
Yes, I did, just for the record.
Okay. So here you are, Mr. Langley, writing a letter to the managing director of the Raspotech Nigeria Limited. What are you asking him to do in this letter?
To delay
if you read the second part, it says, we hereby kindly request that that Raspotech delay the presentation of the check issued as payment for the 3rd and final batch of POS machines delivered in December 2019. That is a request for a delay in presentation of the check, is it not?
Yes, it is.
It wasn't for the records, was it?
Sir?
You were requesting a delay in payment, were you not?
Yes, I was.
And you're doing that from the managing director of the claimant company at the time. Were you not?
I already.
Can you please answer my question? Were you requesting were you asking for a delay in payment of the 3rd installment?
Yes, I was.
Can I therefore suggest to you that you knew from the content of the email that Mr. Deji sent to you and this letter, that when it came to the alteration of the contract between the claimant and the defendant as to the terms of payment, that you had to seek the approval of the board of the claimant company? What do you say to that?
I believe that in Mr. Deji's letter, that this letter was just for the record, and that which I intended to secure, which is a delay, had already been approved.
Come on, Mr. Lanley. You're requesting. You said we hereby kindly request. That's a request, is it not?
The request had already been made and approved, and this was just for the record.
That is inconsistent with what you write here. You say we hereby kindly request. Do you accept that?
No, sir, it is not inconsistent.
And I suggest to you again that you knew at all times that Mr. Deji did not have the power or authority to alter the terms of payment. That's what I suggest to you. Thank you very much. Let's move on. Can I proceed, my lord?
Yes, go ahead.
Minister, please, can you show the witness paragraph 12 of his witness statement? Mr. Lanley, can you read paragraph 12? Can you see paragraph 12 of your witness statement?
Yes,
where you
can.
said on 31st January 2020, our major partner undertook to make payments for the outstanding sum to the claimant. If the claimant approved it, in consequence, I intimated Mr. Deji of this request, and he confirmed his satisfaction with the news. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can I suggest to you that the alleged undertaking by your major partner is in the, might be in the email from Mr. Squaza to you, dated 31st January 2020. And that is item 16 of the defendant's list of documents. Can the registrar please show him or put on the screen what is item D16 16 on the defendant's list of documents?
That will be D13. That will be D13, yes.
Please, can we then go to, if you scroll down a bit, please. Okay. Can you identify the email from Mr. Max Quarter to you, to the defendant, which is dated, sent on the 31st of January, 2020? Can you see that? Mr. Lanley.
Yes, sir.
That is the email that was sent to you by Mr. Max Quaza, is it not?
Yes, it is.
And what he's saying here is that dear King, referring to you, further to our call, please be informed that we will make a consolidated payment from Q4 2019 and Q20 2020 on or before 31st March 2020. Is this the document you are referring to at paragraph 12 of your witness statement?
Can I see paragraph 12 again?
You can. Is Mr. Squaza the major partner you are referring to at paragraph 12?
Yes, he is.
Okay. So the document you looked at, the email, was it the undertaking to make the payments to the claimant? Yes or no? Can I suggest to you that what Mr. Squaza is telling you in this email is that he was going to make a consolidated payment to you? He does not say that he was going to make a payment to the claimant, does it?
He intended to make the payment
Please
on our
answer.
behalf.
Can you tell the court what is contained in that document, not what he intended to say? Can you please confirm that he doesn't say here that he's going to make a payment to the claimant? Please confirm it, yes or no?
It is not specifically mentioned in the mail.
Can you also confirm that nowhere in this email does it say, use the phrase, if the claimant confirms?
Not in this email, no.
If you then, is there any other document that the defendant relies upon where a major partner undertook to make a payment to the claimant?
None that has been entered in this case.
Is there any document in the defendant's list of documents where the major partner said if the claimant approved that it will make a payment to it?
No, sir.
Okay, can we then, the registrar, please, can you show him what might be Exhibit D11, which is Deji's response to the email?
And we have the date.
It's dated 1st of February 2020, time at 10 a.m. Well, it's Deji's response to you where he says, great, we hope to receive payment as soon as possible. Can I suggest to you that this email is an expectation that payment will be made early and not an approval of a payment to the claimant by a third party? Do you accept that?
No, sir, because as I said, It was a matter of understanding over the phone.
Can I therefore suggest to you, and very respectfully, that the assertion contained in paragraph 12 of your witness statement that your major partner undertook to make the payments to the defendant if the claimant approved is false?
I disagree, sir.
Can I then also suggest to you that your defense, that your obligation to pay the claimant was assigned to a third party, only exists in your mind? It does not exist in reality.
It exists in reality, sir.
Can you also accept that there is no evidence of that undertaking?
I intimated Mr. DG of...
Please, there is no evidence of that undertaking before this court. It shows that...
Lord, if counsel would like the witness finish his response before he's interrupted, I think that counsel should let the witness respond fully and stop interrupting the witnesses.
I think the witness is doing fine. Just try as much as possible to answer the question in a brisk manner. Go ahead, please. You may want to repeat the question.
Can I have the question again? Yeah.
Can you... What my chain of thought? Would you accept that there is no evidence before this court that contains an undertaking from a major partner to make the payments to the claimant?
There was a phone call between the parties, but none of the
documents.
Yes, there is no documents that indicate.
Thank you very much.
At this point, Mr. Umezuruke, I have to inform you that you have just 5 more minutes.
I'm very grateful. I'll round up before 5 minutes, my lord.
Okay, thank you.
Can you please, Registrar, can you please show the witness exhibit C1? Mr. Landley.
Yes, sir.
Can you please look at clause 3B and tell this court when the obligation from the defendant to pay the claimant the last installments? It's not the 3rd of January 2020.
The obligation was originally intended to arise on the 3rd of January.
Please, the document there says 3rd January 2020. Do you accept that?
Originally, yes.
Okay. Was payment made on that day?
No.
Can you please show the witness his letter of the 2nd of January to the claimant? I think it might be the one requesting suspension. Yes, that's it. The reason that you gave the claimant for not paying is financial constraints, is it not?
Just a minute. What exhibit has this been, man? What exhibit?
B6. The reason for the non-payment is financial constraints. That is what is in the 3rd paragraph, is it not? Okay, if you can then show the witness his letter of the 27th of March.
For the record.
You wrote this letter on the 27th of March, didn't you? And you promised to make a payment.
This can
you promised to make a payment on the 31st of March. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Please, Registrar, can you take him back to the letter of the 2nd of January, please? Is there anywhere in that letter where lockdown is mentioned?
The letter on, what letter is this?
2nd of January.
The 2nd of January.
Yeah.
The lockdown had not become an issue on the 2nd of January.
You know, can you tell the court when the lockdown was announced for Lagos?
Sometime after the 30th of March.
Can I tell you, if you accept, that it was made, I believe, on the 29th of March, the 27th of March, to take effect from the 30th of March.
Sorry?
The lockdown in Lagos was announced on the 29th of March and to take effect on the 31st of March. Do you accept that? Okay. My final question, can I put it to you that the reason why the defendant failed to make the payment, so that's two things. First, that the claimant's obligation to pay arose before the lockdown. Do you accept that?
No, sir.
Can you also accept the fact that the reason why the defendant failed to pay when his obligation arose was due to alleged financial constraints and not the lockdown? Do you accept that?
Yes, we need to answer
first. That is what the lockdown relates to.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to be... All right, thank you very much. I'll be calling on the learned silk if you have any questions in re-examination for your witness.
My lord.
Thank you very much. Mr. King, the gentlemen have finished with you. You are hereby discharged. All right. Since there are no more witnesses, gentlemen, you know the drill. The claimants, you have, by the rules, 21 days within which to file and serve your final address. And upon receipt of same, the claimant has 21 days to respond. The defendant has a right to file a reply address to be exercised not later days after receipt of the defendant's address. Thank you, gentlemen. I'll just be giving you a date of addresses. I think with all the timelines, you'll be coming back sometime 31st of July for adoption of final addresses.
The date is convenient, my lord.
All right, thank you very much.
It's convenient, my lord.
All right.
Assuming the court is not.
So we come to the end of today's proceedings.
The court's now rise.
I think Mr. Ifemena requested that I should say a few things.
Correct, Your Lordship.
At the end of the session. He's our host and he's the one coordinating the affairs. Let me start by appreciating the frontline workers. They deserve all our accolades. They are the ones at the front line of putting an end to this COVID pandemic and also bringing much needed healthcare to those who have fallen ill. So they indeed do deserve our appreciation, and on behalf of everybody in the Lagos State Judiciary, I extend our accolades to them. May they continue to be strengthened with the work that they are doing. Similarly, I must also commend the Justice Reform Project for putting together what I will call it's like a training skit for every one of us. I haven't done a trial remotely, so it was a pleasant surprise for me. It's a learning curve for me, and this learning curve, I can only say that it has to be very, very short so that we can all come to grip with the things that go on, not only to prepare for a remote hearing, but also how to walk through the process. So I want to commend Justice Reform Project and all the faces behind the sector. And I'm sure that everybody who participated must have picked up and learned a thing or two. And as I wrap up, I must also say that you know, technology has definitely come to stay, and it's a driver of reform. It's also a driver of the new norm. While we await the apex court in making a final pronouncement on the constitutionality of remote hearings, I think that it is something that is welcome, and we ought to embrace it. There will definitely be some kind of cases that are rather complex and technical that may not fit into the remote hearing model, but there will be few. And as time goes on, I can assure everybody that we'll get better at this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lordship, and thank everybody for joining. It's been a learning experience even for us at the Justice Reform Project. Today was a lot more complicated than yesterday was, having to jump through the exhibits and just even having to mark them. But I think on behalf of the Justice Reform Project Governing Board and its management team and all its members, I want to thank everybody for coming, everybody for joining. Thank you, Lordship. Thank the Lagos State Judiciary for joining today. It's indeed a pleasure to have you. We have learned and we will continue to learn. I just want to thank you again. Before we go, I want to call on the Chairman, the Governing Board of the Justice Reform Project, Mrs. Olufunke Adekwa SAN, to just give a closing remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Femina. My lady, colleague, and all those who have joined to see what can be done, I would like to appreciate all of you for the time that you have taken out to participate in this process. For the counsel on both sides, both senior and junior counsel, the work that they had to do to understand the case. To those who wrote up the case itself, provided the exhibits and the witnesses, I also appreciate all of you. As my lady Justice Ipaye has said, this is the new normal. We hope that we'll be able to persuade not just the Lagos State Judiciary, who have partnered with the Justice Reform Project in putting this forward, but with other state judiciaries to show that we can actually use technology to do more for the consumers of legal services than just rulings and judgments. Obviously, if it is a complicated trial, then there is a possibility that virtual hearings will not work, but it should work for simple cases. I thank you all for your attendance today. I've been following the chats. We take note of the issues that have arisen and hope that if there is another outing, we would have the contribution of the judges on the platform as well as counsel to enable us make a case for what needs to be done and to push for the funds that will be required to ensure that this virtual hearings can take place. It's not a cheap process. If it eventually does take place, it is not Zoom. It would be a dedicated platform with dedicated breakout rooms, with facilities for showing exhibits. And that's the case that we need to push to the State House of Assembly. Thank you so much, my ladies, my lords, and colleagues for joining.
All right, so thank you so much, everyone. We will now end the meeting, and we will share the recorded versions in links and all the documents that we used as well. Thank you very much, and have an amazing day.
Thank you.